So if anyone has any questions, go ahead.
What did you make of Ambassador Sondland's testimony this morning?
Well, I think it was fantastic. I think they have to end it now. You've seen me. I took down exactly what he said. He called and he said, he asked me, what should he do? I said, I want nothing. Then I repeated it. I want nothing. I want no quid pro quo. Tell the president, as you know, of Ukraine, to do the right thing. And then he finished off, he said, this is the final word from the President of the United States. So what did the President want? I want nothing. I want nothing.
While the FakeStream media continues to be mired and concern itself with garbage like quid pro quo and defending corrupt politicians like Joe Biden, protecting his son, protecting Burisma, and not getting to the bottom line of what's actually wrong with this country, namely the domestic terror cell known as the IRS that continues to terrorize each and every American every single year around April, nor does it address the fiat currency Ponzi scheme set up by the Federal Reserve, which allows us to get into war after war after war and build up the dangerous, deadly military-industrial complex. They continue to throw softball questions at Zionist Trump, literally letting him get away with murder. And Trump is always on the case, slamming the FakeStream media. So today is yet another chapter written for the Dog and Pony Show's psychological operation parody.
Let me tell you, it's a hoax, it's a disgrace, it's an embarrassment to our country. Nancy Pelosi has done a terrible job as Speaker. There's never been a Speaker that's done so little. And she's totally incompetent. And Shifty stands up and he tells lies all day long, and even with that. So we have no due process. We can't have anything. And yet, not only did we win today, it's over.
You'll never get a substantive question from FakeStream News when they're asking Trump a question. For example, you'll never hear them ask Trump about why he's putting national sovereignty on the chopping block through his USMCA free trade deal.
And some of the fair press, of which there isn't too much, said this thing is over. So the President of the United States told this guy who's the question I ask, and it's the same question that a number of the congressmen have asked, why didn't he put this statement into his opening remarks? It's the most important statement there are. For this country, for our country to be playing this, we're opening up massive Apple plants. We have the greatest economy in the world. We have the greatest economy that we've ever had in the history of our country, of the best unemployment numbers that we've ever had.
Actually, what we really have is an artificially inflated bubble propped up by the Federal Reserve, which is primed to pop anytime, sending the entire economy into a tailspin. But shh, nobody wants to think or talk about that.
But we have a fake press. We have a phony press. We don't have freedom of the press in this country. We have a phony press. They're dishonest, most of them. We have some fine people, from fine journalists and reporters and companies, but most of them are fake.
Well, in reality, they're all fake. Because long ago, as we all know, they were infiltrated by the CIA and operate under Operation Mockingbird rules.
I thought that it was a matter of real concern that planted stories intended to serve a national purpose abroad came home and were circulated here and believed here, because this would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. Now, we're looking at that very carefully.
I think it was entirely in order for our correspondents at that time to make use of CIA agent chiefs of station and other members of the executive staff of CIA as sources of information which were useful in their assessments of world conditions.
Would you say that continues today?
Well, Yeah, I would think probably for a reporter it would continue today, but because of all of the revelations of the period of the 1970s, it seems to me that a reporter's got to be much more circumspect in doing it now, or he runs the risk of at least being looked at with considerable disfavor by the public. I think you've got to be much more careful about it.
Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
And phony. CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, the Washington Post, New York Times. These are fake papers. They're fake press. And they should be ashamed of themselves, and they hurt our country.
Now, if you'll notice, he didn't mention faux news, but he should have. The reason he didn't is because that's not according to the script.
And to be honest with you, I think it's a great tribute to all of those people in swing states and all of those people in this country. We had an electoral college, as you know, Congressman, we had a landslide, 306 to 223. We had a landslide. And they're trying to take it away because they can't do it fairly. But these are bad people.
Now, if you'll notice, there's one thing in this impeachment hearing, and any impeachment hearing, and really anytime mainstream, fake stream news talks about this, or the psychopaths in Congress, they have to keep elections intact. Because elections keep the sheep mesmerized and keep them submissive for the rulers. The rulers can't have sheep not voting and submitting to the election process, which is really a C-election process for the globalists.
Nancy Pelosi's incompetent. She's gotten nothing done in Congress. And now with their big star witness, this was going to be their star witness. Now, just so you know, I don't know him very well. He's a guy that got put there. He wasn't even on my side. He came over to me. I didn't even know that. Came over to me after I defeated other people. I defeated them all. But you know what? What really we have to learn from this whole thing is the press. They ought to the fake press with the media the way it is. They should be ashamed of themselves. And also, Shifty Schiff is a dishonest, he's a corrupt politician.
This is true. Shifty Schiff is a corrupt politician. But then there's no such thing as a politician who's not corrupt.
Everybody complains about politicians. Everybody says they suck.
Yeah!
Well, where do people think these politicians come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality.
When he imitated or tried to copy my conversation, he didn't copy it. He made up a conversation, went before Congress, and made up a phony conversation, just like he does every time he talks. It's a phony. He's a very dishonest, very corrupt politician.
They come from American parents and American families, American homes, American schools, American churches, American businesses, and American universities, and they're elected by American citizens.
So instead of, and look, the big upset, as you folks know, was when I released the transcript. Because I don't like doing that, because you have to keep this very, very classified and confidential when you're speaking to heads of state. But I released it because Schiff and the whistleblower made up a phony deal.
This is the best we can do, folks. This is what we have to offer. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out.
And I'll tell you what, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. The press should be ashamed. And they ought to end the witch hunt right now.
Would you take action against this?
When you say Zelensky should do the right thing,
I didn't say that. He's already done the right thing. Because the president, if you look, of Ukraine and his spokesman, the foreign minister, they put out, there was no pressure whatsoever, none whatsoever. And you knew that very well. But you're fake news, and you should be ashamed of yourselves.
It's absolutely true and very telling that today's corporate mainstream fake stream news continues to cover for Biden's clear quid pro quo as they try to nitpick on Trump's alleged quid pro quo. And that tells you everything you need to know about fake stream media.
you can sign the Hong Kong bill.
To investigate the Bidens, Mr. President.
The Bidens is a whole different story. When you talk about corruption, when you have a guy that made no money, his father becomes vice president, And all of a sudden, he's getting millions and millions of dollars from Ukraine, from China, from all of these countries. You just see two of them. This guy made nothing. He got thrown out of the Navy. He couldn't get a job. And then his father becomes vice president. And the press doesn't want to report it because the press is dishonest. So I think it's a disgrace. I think the whole thing with Biden is a disgrace.
Guys, if you enjoyed this video, like and share it with everybody you know everywhere you can on social media. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification icon. And leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video. Before you go, check out our new shirt designs in the shirt store. Here's the Beta Hates America design. Hell no, you're not taking my AR-15. And nobody needs an AR-15. Well, nobody needs a whiny little bitch either. And yet, here you are. And against all enemies, Democrat and Republican. There are over 90 other kick-ass designs in the store and the link's in the description. Your purchase supports the message of freedom on this channel. If you get something out of this content, help me beat YouTube's censorship algorithms by liking and sharing this video. And while you're here, why not watch a couple more of my videos? Until next time, stand firm, stay vigilant, and for the sake of all that is right and good, stop giving your rights away to tyrannical psychopaths who want to destroy this country.